see the requirements, what is expected out of you, and what you need to do as a person. Go through rehearsals, such kind of stuff, and what the judges is looking for. So basically, by having what the judge is looking for, that's basically what you have to work upon. Yes.
How do you know what the judges are looking for?
Basically, when you go to any, let's say on social media, or when you apply online or whatsoever, you see the requirements, what is strictly is expected out of you as a contestant. Yes, and then you follow the instructions. Basically, there is instructions as well. So by following that, basically you're carrying yourself as a winner before the crowning.
Wow.
Yes.
And then you won Mr. Mahikeng first.
Yes.
What was that year like after winning?
I think for me, because Mr. Mahikeng, that's where it all began. That's where I started everything. It was a year of a blessing.
Yeah.
And I totally carried myself. I never thought it will take me to where I am today. But then basically starting by my manager and the community at large, by supporting me and my manager monitoring, mentoring me as well, it gave me a way that you have to carry yourself in a certain way, and this is the way. If you carry on continuing yourself this way, greater things are coming your way. And I'm highly unlikely to believe that, because look at where I am today. Just a year after crowning Mr. Mahikeng, got another title as Mr. Northwest. So things like that. I would say the way you carry yourself as a title, because people are looking at you, a positive role model to the community. So basically by helping out to the community, the charities that we conduct normally, because looking at pageantry, it evolved from being just a pretty face to beauty with brains and giving back to the community as well.
Absolutely. And then now that you've won Mr. Northwest, I mean, what is expected of you to...
my manager, the current manager of me, Mr. Northwest, we have like charity centers. The one in here we have 3 charity centers. The one is Westchester in Eastern Cape, and then the one is here in the East, Joburg East. Whereby there's children who stays there in the meantime throughout the year, the school kids. So basically we go out looking for sponsorship, and we normally provide what is needed, something like clothing. Now it's getting to winter. No, you know it's winter, you go shopping and you buy more blankets and so forth. So that's basically what you expected. That the responsibility becomes as you as a title holder, to make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. And that's another young man in the studio who's making a positive contribution to his province, and I'm sure he's got his eye on Mr. South Africa as well.
Yeah, I think my contract ends here this year in October. If it wasn't, I will be one of the finalists for this year. But basically, I have to abide by the rules of the pageantry. So now I'm still on my contract. It's been Mr. North. Just a year later, probably next year, I'll be sitting here as someone else, one of the finalists.
Wow, man! Wow, interesting stuff. Now let's turn a page to elders here. I mean, Elder Brown. I mean, how do you get I see both of you are, Elder Brown and Elder Jackson. How do you become an elder?
Well, I guess it starts from, first have to have a desire to become an elder, which is in turn a missionary. And to do that, you have to have a testimony, or I guess a desire to teach about the things that we share. So for myself, my journey started, I guess, when I was young. I was actually raised in this church, growing up with the gospel as part of my life. But the desire to become an elder didn't come till I was, I guess, older, maybe around 17 years old. And I truly had to find out these things for myself, some of the things we share. If it was something I believed was true, if it's something that I wanted to go and share with the world. And so it started from there. And then we just prepare. There's not much preparation. I finished my high school, and then I came out to do this about 5 months later. So it's a daily preparation. Gospel preparation, and praying, reading your scriptures, going to church. Those type of things really are what prepared me to become an elder, and eventually to be here, teaching people more about the gospel.
Now, I mean, in your city, Minnesota, I mean, how difficult is it? Is it Minnesota, right?
It's Utah.
Utah. Okay,
Yeah.
you from Minnesota?
I'm Minnesota, yeah.
All right, sorry. Now, do you, as a young person, choosing that you want to serve the gospel, you want to go and preach, how do you get looked upon by young people in your area?
I guess in my area, it's quite a common thing.
Okay.
A lot of the kids I grew up with, they're also doing the same thing right now. I guess the reason for that, where I'm from, I guess there's a high population of members of the church.
Yeah.
And so it's quite a common thing. It's kind of looked at, in a way that it's something you should do, or something that's encouraged to do, to go and help people to learn more of the gospel.
Yeah. Elder Jackson, now, turning a page to you, what made you decide that this is the way, the path that you want to go and go into the world and just preach the gospel?
I think kind of what Elder Brown was saying, it kind of goes down to what I believe. I grew up in this church my whole life, but there came a point where I had to decide if this is what I wanted, if this is the stuff I believed in. And so it came down to me, really studying the scriptures and praying about it and gaining that testimony and that desire to, be a missionary. For myself, I grew up with older brothers who did this as well, older brothers and sisters, and so kind of following their example, I kind of saw the people they became, leaving their homes for 2 years and then coming back. They're very different. And so I also had that desire to kind of experience what they experienced.
And then in your town, is it also, something that's expected of you as a young person to go into the ministry?
Well, from where I'm from, there aren't a lot of members of the church there. And so growing up, most of my friends, they weren't members of the same church as me. And so as a community, I wasn't expected to, but, my family, growing up in my family, that was one of, the things that they expected of me. And so in my family, it was, but community, no, it wasn't expected of me to go.
Yeah. And you guys have been here for at least a couple of months in South Africa. And how do you see South Africa? Like, why did you guys choose South Africa out of all places in the world where you could have been? Let's start with you, Elder Brown.
So I guess we don't really choose where we're coming.
Okay.
We are assigned to a certain part of the world. So there's missionaries around the whole world. But for us specifically, we're assigned to the Johannesburg mission. And so we serve Gauteng, Northwest, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo. So those are kind of the areas we can go. But mostly concentrated around Gauteng. So for myself, I've been mostly around Gauteng and in Mpumalanga. But I've really come to love South Africa. It's a lot different than home, to be honest.
Yeah.
Than back in the States. I guess people here, they always ask us about the States, what's different. But I've learned a lot of great things. I really have come to enjoy South Africa. A lot of, we learn a lot about the different traditions, a lot about just the way that people live here. And it's really interesting and fun to learn about.
Now, do people actually know that, in cities like yours, do they know that South Africa actually exists, or do they? Because often, the state is quite a big place, and some people think the state is the only place in the world. Am I wrong?
Well, it's funny because when I first found out that I was going to South Africa, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I heard of Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
He's big, but besides that, I didn't really know much. I wasn't sure if there's just lions and elephants everywhere. I don't know, but obviously coming here, we see it's very like home.
Yeah. So when you landed at the airport, you were like, damn, okay, actually they've got an airport. There are roads.
Civilized, very modern, so yeah.
So you're hoping to see elephants and us riding on some couple of lions and stuff. Well, not really.
Yeah, we were hoping to see them, but I guess we have to go to the nature reserve for that. So.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the young people in the studio, and of course we're just giving a bit of history about who they are, where they're from, and you can also engage with us. James has given you those contact details. He's also going to play you some clips from some of the questions that we've got from yourselves as Kofifi Landers. Now let's turn a page quickly and speak to you, Mr. Northwest Chris Hianeng. Hianeng.
Yes.
I feel so bad, my brother. All right, Chris. Now tell me, how do the ladies respond to a guy like you, who is like a title holder? How do you handle all of that? I've always wanted to ask, like a title holder to say, do you keep your feet on the ground or do you get carried away by all of this?
I guess on that notion, discipline goes a long way. You know the world that you're living in, how ladies are.
Yeah.
Some people like to be a groupie. They like associations. So due to certain things that you're having in life, there's certain people that don't like to associate with them. But not for the mere fact that you're having something that they can relate to. But then because you have something that they want, you see. But then for me, I guess, through the manager that I'm having, I've been coping with everything that comes my way. Yes, there's certain times that I come across such people that they increase this and that, increase this and that. But then I tell them, this is what I'm doing, and then I'm not here for this. If you want to do this...
Are you serious, my man?
I'm for real. on a clean slate. That's what I'm basically doing. I'm taking, there's certain things. I guess the way you talk to people matters most. The way you address them. So the manner in which I address them, I guess that's what basically makes it easier for me. So to relate on, like, this is where I am, and if you come in with this is not what I'm having, this is not what I'm doing, this is not what I'm in for. Yeah. So if you're asking that's not basically what I'm gonna do. It's way out of my reach.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. And then how do you handle the pressures? Because, for a lot of our young people, the pressure of alcohol, the pressure of drug abuse, and you sound and you look like a guy who's disciplined. But how do you make sure that you don't get anybody to put you under pressure around those issues?
Okay, like I mentioned, I guess like discipline and knowing exactly that you want in life. I guess before winning that, you get a contract. So if you're going to abide that contract, you're going to put your signature on it. You're abiding to each and every letter on it. So I guess for me, sticking with the rules and having the strong supporting structure, that's what kept me going all along.
Absolutely. Elders, we've got a question here from Renelwe who says, ask the elders how many people they have baptized since their mission.
I think, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I've maybe been involved with about eight or so baptisms.
Yeah. So what goes into baptizing someone?
Well, baptism, it's a serious covenant that we make with God. And so with that, that's what we're doing all day, every day. We're finding people who we teach about the gospel and kind of inform them on what this covenant or promise that they're making with God. So teaching them about the gospel of Jesus Christ and what it kind of consists of. And then they choose if they want to live that kind of life. And then if they do, then they can be baptized. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the baptism is obviously... just explain to anybody who doesn't understand, because not everybody understands what baptism is. And do you throw? Because I've seen there are certain religions where they'll take you to a dam or a river and they'll baptize you right there. Some the churches have a little pool-like sort of set up in the back of the church and they baptize there. How do you guys do it?
So I guess like you said, there's so many different ways of baptism. But I guess the way we believe in baptism is that it's baptism by immersion, where you're, I guess, fully dunked under the water one time.
How long does it take?
It's really a very quick process, just like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Very short.
It's not like a drowning process.
No, you don't hold them under, see how long they can hold their breath.
Yeah. That's great, man. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back from a break, ladies and gentlemen, do throw us your questions and make sure that you send us your comments, your questions for our young people in the studio. And we're also going to be talking about a whole lot of issues that are facing young people in our country. And also, James will be giving you those clips when we come back from a break. Give them our contact details there, my brother.
You can also follow us on Twitter. Follow Sipho Masiro @SiphoMasiro. Follow me @MC or follow Kofifi FM @Kofifi FM _972. Or visit our Facebook page and like it and tell other Kofifi lenders about the station where it all began. It is Kofifi FM 97.2.
Always keep this in mind. The sky is not the limit, it's just the floor that you walk on. Stay tuned to Dear Businessman, proudly brought to you by the Daily Wrap-Up Show.
What does freedom mean to me? It means I am free to vote.